The Mandalorian just wrapped its first season, and despite the divisiveness that is the Disney Skywalker Star Wars trilogy, The Mandalorian has gone on to have major praise and hardly any backlash. The show even gave us the biggest meme and character of 2019, the child, aka Baby Yoda. He is cute, but also plays a major key to the Mandalorian story. And me personally, I'd say that he's the central figure of the entire story, and that we could not tell The Mandalorian Season 1 without him. Season 1 of The Mandalorian revolves around the child, telling us a biblical story of Baby Yoda playing the role of Jesus. The comparisons to religion have always been there with Star Wars, with the Force being some kind of spiritual or godlike persona, being followed by the Jedi and the Sith. But what The Mandalorian does with religion takes a completely different route. The Skywalker saga has always taught us about this bloodline, this royalty, where Jedi and Sith are these all-powerful beings that can use the Force. But The Mandalorian revolves around a central savior, and the people that rally around him, similar to the story of Jesus. In the first episode of The Mandalorian, we meet Din Djarin, which we don't learn his name until the last episode, but that is his name. He's our title character Mandalorian, who's living in a seedy underworld of the Star Wars universe, trying to do his best to survive. And the Mandalorian follows his own religious creed, never taking off his helmet to show other beings who he is, swearing to a life of secrecy and protecting the other Mandalorians and the orphaned children. Being a Mandalorian is his way of life. He stays poor but yet serves to help others in their time of need. He is an excellent warrior, but being a warrior is only part of that credence. And by the end of the first episode, the Mandalorian comes across his bounty, the child. And really that drives into the first biblical comparisons we have. We see this child in a little crib or manger, and he is stuck in the middle of this desert planet, a place similar to Bethlehem. In episode 2, the Mandalorian is looking to collect on his bounty, believing in every moment that he's going to return the child to the remains of the Empire that have hired him. But Mando gets into a life and death situation with a mudhorn, and the child uses the Force to save our hero. And this is the first time that we see the Force being used in the series. And it can easily draw comparisons to the miracles that Jesus performs. And as he's being saved, the Mandalorian has a change of heart, now believing that he's going to protect this child instead of just turning him in. This puts Din Djarin into two different biblical roles, the first being the father figure of Joseph, who's now going to use all that he can to protect this child with power. But he also plays the role of Peter. For those who don't know, Peter is one of Jesus' first disciples, and being a poor fisherman, he also had a boat which allowed Jesus to travel and preach. The comparisons for the Mandalorian to Peter are plentiful here. First of all, he's poor, but he also has a ship which allows himself and the child to travel from planet to planet, changing the lives of the people they meet as they go around the universe. In episode 3 of the series, not only does Din Djarin protect the child, but all of the Mandalorians step up to protect this one baby from the remains of the Empire. And in episode 4, when Mando takes the child to Sorgan, they go into hiding, trying to protect the baby at all costs from the people trying to persecute him. But by the end of that episode, they learn that they have to continue to be on the run. And for Jesus, he continued to be persecuted his entire life, all the way up until his crucifixion. He'd continue to live life on the road, never truly making a home, but continuing to grow his followers as he moved from place to place. And we see in episode 4 that the child, along with the Mandalorian and Cara Dune, help protect an innocent village from raiders. Like Jesus, they bring peace to a village of innocent people. And the story of the traveling child continues with episode 5 and 6, when he and the Mandalorian go on miscellaneous adventures. But episode 7 brings us back to the beginning, back to the planet of Navarro. and our crew meets up with Greef Karga. And when hurt, Baby Yoda actually heals the wounds of Karga and changes his heart, similarly to the miracles that Jesus performed, changing those people in which saw those miracles or had those miracles performed to them. And in that moment, Greef Karga becomes the newest and latest disciple of our child. Also in episode 7, we meet Moff Gideon, who becomes the big bad leader of the ex-Empire soldiers that are after our crew. In episode 8, it's clear that their mission is to either capture the child or to kill the child, as they see his great power being a threat. Similarly, the Romans crucified Jesus for those same types of threats of political and religious power. Like Jesus, the child threatens a way of life, threatens the balance in the universe. Hopefully, as we go into season 2, we continue to see some of those same themes of a child who has to continue to be on the run due to the persecution that is following him. And me saying all this isn't a word-for-word interpretation of the Bible or any other kind of religious text. In fact, personally, I'm not really an overly religious person. And for some people, I understand that comparing their religion to a story in Star Wars can seem sacrilegious. But while watching the show unfold week to week, I couldn't help but see these comparisons continue to play out. I see the value and the quality in the stories of Jesus, and I see those exact same values and qualities in the stories that are playing out with The Mandalorian. I think that those values make up a major part of why The Mandalorian succeeds in the first place, and why this show has become so beloved so quickly, with a character like the child becoming such a major hit in meme culture throughout the internet, us all wanting to love this one character that doesn't even talk. For me, I can't wait to see where Mando and the rest of the crew, including our Baby Yoda, go in season 2. And I hope, like in season 1, and like in the stories of Jesus, we continue to see hope for the future. That's what the child really brings, a sense of hope in a place that doesn't really have any. And maybe that's why we've all fallen in love with this character. He's a character of hope in a time period where we don't really see a lot of it in our news cycle. Let me know what you guys thought of The Mandalorian Season 1. Personally, I loved it. There were so many characters, moments, side stories, everything. I loved it all. I can't just nail it down to one thing I loved. But if you can, let me know in the comments below what you loved about The Mandalorian, and maybe I'll make more videos about Season 1 before we go into Season 2 in the fall of 2020. And let me know if you see the comparisons with religion as well. Maybe you have some other insights into the theology of The Mandalorian, or the theology of Star Wars in general. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so again, comments down below. Also, if you've just found us or you've been watching Network 1901 for a long time and haven't subscribed, subscribe now. If you like this video, like it, and please spread it around. Either share it with a friend or share it on social media. Our plan this coming year is to grow our channel more and more, spreading our message of our own personal hope around the internet. And in the meantime, thank you for watching, and keep on moving, people.